All right, Awareness Daily. Let's chat about the Spirit, the mastery of it, and the magic of understanding how to use it in vessels. So, the Spirit is not bound by vessels. It itself could be classified as a vessel, especially when you're talking about the spiritual light. So you look at the two different lights. You got the natural light and the spiritual light, and they're shining on both of our different bodies because we have two different bodies. And the commercial light, but you can't do nothing. Okay, so just pretend you have natural body, spiritual body. They're not moving, not thinking, not doing nothing. Like that's what the two main lights shine on. Then you got the commercial light, which is anything that those two bodies do or can do. And that's thoughts, consciousness, movements, exchanging contracts, guidelines, words, any of that stuff. So that's how the three lights work and intertwine, and eventually I'll make a video on that just to break it down a little more. But so those are your lights, because we're all light beings. We are beings of light. And the natural light is such a very small spectrum, and the spiritual light encompasses it. If you actually look on the scale, the natural light's like this tiny little hair fraction of what the true light is, the spiritual light, which is like governing and outside, and the commercial light in between. So you can look at the spirit as a vessel, but it is not. A lot of times in the spiritual realm, we get taught and shown things that our minds can understand, right? Because the spiritual, that is a whole nother level, okay? You can have multiple spiritual bodies. You can be a part, like we're all tied into one giant unity, when you start looking at that. So it's like more of an organic structure, like a city, than a vessel. But you can break down and segregate it into simple vessels. But it's not. Yes, you are. You are the spirit, and you're more than the spirit. You're a part of the one, the big, the all, the substance experiencing itself. And that's what's kind of. It took me a while to grasp some of these concepts, because when you start going down these rabbit trails, it's like, okay, if everything's already predetermined, then how and why are we even going through this stuff? It's like, why am I testing myself? Because I used to look at all this as just a test. This is just, the natural realm is just a test. You're supposed to die daily. You're supposed to sacrifice your natural animal body to help and live and grow in unity in the spiritual realm. Because this natural body, it ain't going to be around long. It is just merely a temporary type thing. And it is so hard to look and see beyond it by closing the two eyes of division and looking at through that unity, that eye of unity that ties us all together. That's that spiritual source that we're all connected to and from and through and grafted into the tree of oneness. But there's also a flip side of the bad trees that, just as there are good trees, there's bad trees that produce fruit as well. And that can be very deceiving, especially with a baby that's like a newborn trying to walk in the spirit and being guided in the spirit. I have been deceived plenty. I've actually been deceived for good. For it's funny. It says all things work together for good. I've been deceived in a way, in a spiritual, that I thought for sure something was this way, but it wasn't. And then it ended up being for my benefit later, but I couldn't understand it or comprehend why it happened, and was actually kind of upset, because I'm like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be deceived and for God being guided, then I'm just not gonna be guided anymore. Screw that. But the truth is, we're all supposed to be like when you reach an age, you're not supposed to have your hand held anymore. You get on certain frequencies, you can understand like what is appropriate and not appropriate while you're operating commercially out there in the realms, the different realms. Our substance, the substance is a spirit, the form is the nature, and the substance controls the form, but all the time we use the form to control the substance, and that's how everything gets flipped upside down. And trying to operate in a different manner than that is not easy. It takes time and practice. So I went on an extremely long rant that about your magic of understanding how to use it in vessels. And if you're talking about other vessels, if you're talking about using your spirit for other vessels, the easiest way would be through words and thoughts and intention, because even the simplest animals can understand and feel someone's intentions. Like, it emanates out through through the source that flows, our substance that flows through the form. And that's why I always try to tell everybody to find the peace within, because most people look for peace without. They look for that next thing, whatever it is. It could be a hot girl, could be a nice job, could be a whatever. But you're trying to fill a hole that you can't fill. It's endless. So once you find that peace within, it'll emanate without, and it radiates, and people can sense that stuff. It's like a magnetic essence and emanation through our fields that emanates out to the reality. And that is one of the coolest things, that you can shape your reality through your thoughts and intention. And it's hard to grasp that, because we all walk in the natural realm, in the natural body, thinking that's the only thing that there is. But you actually can change your reality through your thoughts and intention. Once you start tapping into the ether, into the source with the substance of the spirit and stuff, it is wild. It is a whole nother level. It is a whole nother ball game that most people can't even comprehend. And a lot of times in dreams, we're shown things that we can understand on a level that we can comprehend. Because, just for instance, spirits can talk through vibrations, not just words. Like, we're used to communicating only through words that are audible. You can communicate through words that are inaudible, just like the words inside of your head. You can communicate through beyond that. You can go beyond that. I've done it. It's like an intention of decoding through the ether, where it's like it's not even words, it's not even audible words, but it's like downloading, almost like the Matrix, when the guy wanted to like download how to drive a helicopter or something like that. It's like boop, it's like it just happens like that. And it's a whole nother level. Yeah, I've been so swamped busy today. I wasn't able to read all that you wrote or was written on Telegram, because I've been driving, I've been talking to people, I've been handling things, and I even told Demisi that I've got stuff that I'm supposed to be doing right now that is more important than this, but I'm doing this because I enjoy it, and it's something that I think I missed last week, and wanted to get on here and try to help y'all some. So, I think this arena, the Sovereign Arena, needs more of this understanding. Oh, absolutely, man. That's the crux of a lot of it. Is spirit is the substance that everybody should start from and focus on, and then use commerce through that, instead of the opposite way, where, remember I showed you flip the triangle, right? Everybody only focuses on nature and tries to use that as their commercial medium of exchange to engage in everything. But you have to flip and reverse that. Hey Nod, yeah, you sent me a video. I will review that, buddy. I will. I know I purposely haven't put my profile in an incognito mode, but I probably should, because I am answering questions all the time. I'm going on my videos, I got questions. I'm going on my email, I'm answering questions on my Telegram group. I'm going through YouTube. I'm going through people sending me videos. I have a person where if I don't click on their profile in 2 days, I'll have 25 videos that are sent to me, and they're freaking awesome. They are freaking awesome. And when I click on them, if I wait too long, they'll get removed. I'm getting sent stuff that is only active for like 5 hours before it gets flagged and removed from some of these people. And I try my best to get and see everything. But I do have a life. I have a life outside of y'all. I love you, but some of this stuff is hard to keep up sometimes. And that's the pros and cons of having being throttled down. Is sometimes I'll put out a video and it'll see 50, 60,000 views, and I'm swamped with questions and people coming at me and follow message requests and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I hope everybody's enjoying their Friday. Awareness. Everybody wants the money and not the spirit. Yes. And the reason, it is established that way for a reason, okay? Commerce binds everybody and blinds them, the money, and that's the hardest part to grasp, is that the U.S. citizen has these, like, not quote-unquote unlimited funds, but an insane amount of assets in the private side. Just like you're sitting there talking and trying to tell me that we need the spirit more than the form, The same thing happens with the money on the private side. And that's why that commerce is so powerful and amazing and neutral, is because the U.S. citizen on the private side, the asset side, the equity side, the spirit side, is insane. It's who knows amount. Who knows how many millions of credits, I guess you'd call it, or units. Because in the public, it's like not or private, it's not gold, but it is an asset. But in the public, everybody's on the hamster wheel, man. They're working 9 to 5, not getting nowhere. It'd be lucky to have $2 to rub together at the end of the day if they could even make ends meet. And a lot of people right now, with the inflation going up, insane, food's going up insane. Everybody's living off of credit, and the bank, and nobody knows what's going to happen. I just listened to a guy say that there is going to be a black swan event. Nobody knows what it's going to be. Could it be another Rona? Could it be another? Could it be a change in the monetary system, the housing market? And I hate to say this, but at the end of the day, it is large corporations that really dictate everything. And then I watched this one guy who broke down that all of the big corporations basically own themselves. So it's like an endless cycle of corporations that control themselves, that make interests and decisions that only benefit themselves and the people that own the stock and equity in those corporations. So it's like an endless cycle that, even Stanford did the data. It doesn't matter what you vote, you the individual. You would think it does. George Carlton said we have the illusion of choice. Same thing with authority. I just watched this beautiful little YouTube clip that was like, when growing up, is it the king that has the authority or the citizen? It was a king. There's three. This actually came from, and I don't watch this. This came from what is that dragon show that everybody loves? Game of Thrones. It came from Game of Thrones, and this guy was talking to the dwarf, and he's like, "There's a priest, a king, and a soldier sitting in a room. Who has the authority and power?" Most people would say, "Oh, it's the king," and it's like, okay, what if the soldier beheads the king? Who has the authority then? Is it the sword? Is it the sword that had the authority and power the whole time, and whoever grabs that sword and yields it? Because at that point, power was just an illusion. Because if the king is just simply beheaded in 1 second, then who's really the authority there? Who grabs the sword first? Power is an illusion. But we all have it. We all have this unlimited self-governing authority that we can tap into with the Spirit and use that. And and it sucks you can't push that. TikTok, when I first started dropping my Spirit videos, I was like, I cannot wait to unlock the Bible to everybody. I'm like, it was the most amazing thing to me, because it happened to me while I was locked up, and I just couldn't believe it. I could not get enough of the Bible. I was opening up and reading and just there wasn't enough daylight hours. I had people thinking I was nuts, because when the Bible became unlocked to me and I was reading it and seeing how everything worked, oh my gosh, it was amazing. I come out here and I'm like, as soon as I say Spirit, whoop, my stuff's getting throttled down 60, 80, 90, 100%, and the reason for that is because I'm not going towards the public mainstream narrative. If I was just going along with the public mainstream narrative, then I would see a lot better traffic. But I'm going into the esoteric, private, knowledge, powerful stuff. And people just, the controllers of apps don't want that stuff getting out. It just is what it is. And a lot of people don't want to hear it to begin with. So now I'm getting throttled down by the platform I'm using. Plus, there's barely anybody that wants to hear it. So trying to blast it out to a lot of people, it is what it is. I'm doing what I can. So anyway, self-sovereign awareness daily. Self-sovereign identity is the new system. It is being onboarded as we speak. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I don't know what the outcome is going to be for a lot of that stuff, because I can tell you there's going to be pushback for people trying to have self-sovereign identity. But at the end of the day, I honestly think that Google already has stuff like that in place. They already have digital twins for all of us, and that's why you get ads for stuff that you like or see or talk about and stuff like that. They're constantly building little digital profiles for all of us. Nickel, power is an illusion. I love it. It is. And the funny thing is that authority must be granted from you to somebody else. It's not inherently somebody has authority over you. Nobody was born with authority over you, except for, quote unquote, your parents until a certain age, because you can't do anything until you can, start throwing your own poop and stuff like that. But when nobody was born on this earth with authority over you. You have to grant and convey it. And that's so hard to come to that realization. But when you start studying the law in depth and you start learning how everything is tied, it has been this way since the beginning of time almost. People need to be bound by the law. They love being bound by the law. They don't want to be self-governing. They don't want to be sovereign. They don't want to think for themselves. They don't want to look outside the box. They feel comforted in being blinded by a system that doesn't really care about them. And what's cool is when you come through the veil, when you walk into the private and you open up the doors, on the Wizard of Oz, there was just some old guy pulling levers at the end of the day. Once they followed the yellow brick road of the people who stole the gold away from the money, and everything turned black and white, and she's like, we're not in Kansas anymore because we're in a corporation. And at the end of the day, they got to the very end of the thing, and there was just one guy pulling levers and stuff, and he's like, hey, you caught me. Hey, here you go. Here's your heart. Here's your, whatever. Because it was all an illusion. The whole scheme, the whole setup, the whole house of cards was just an illusion that, we're not the cowardly lions. We're really the sovereigns on this earth. And that's what I have been trying to instill in everybody from all these videos from the very get-go, is I'm trying to let y'all understand and know that y'all have the authority and power to change your entire reality daily. And I'm about to switch up on y'all. It's going to probably make some people leave, but hold on, Nickel. I've started to realize this over the last year, and I'm about to start taking steps. Hey, watch my playlist. Guys, this live will be on YouTube. The audio will be on my Telegram group. Eventually, I might be here kind of late to try to convert all that. It'll probably just be on Telegram, and I'll post it on YouTube Monday. But I have playlists to help re-educate you on my profile, Foundation Nature Spirit and Commerce. All my social media is linked on my website, which is also on my profile page. All right, so I wanted to tell y'all about something interesting. A long time ago, I found a fossilized clam, and it was a tiny little thing, but even the soft stuff was fossilized, and I was like, this is really cool. It was a perfect replica of a tiny little clam, and it was completely rock. And last live, I was talking about the mud floods, and I was talking about the Mud Fossil University guy. I want to send this guy my miniature little clam. I think if anybody on this earth deserves it, it is him. So this guy, listen to this, y'all. This guy got fired because he was studying and promoting and trying to show and open people's eyes to the reality of what is not in the mainstream media's narrative, okay? He has found some things, and I'm talking some things that would blow y'all's mind. And he ended up getting fired. He has a degree. He's like I don't know about a degree, but he had a job at a lab where he was able to analyze and dissect stuff, and he started noticing that around his valley that he was finding weird fossilized stuff like a duck head. Well, he believed in giants. Get this, listen to this, crazy. This dude sent a petrified lung. He sent a piece of a 36-inch fingertip. And when I say the Bible said that there was giants that made us look like grasshoppers, this dude proved it. He sent a piece of a 36-inch fingertip that was petrified, and it had 100%, it had human DNA all in it. He's found rocks that you can crack open and it still has the red iron from the blood that didn't get fossilized properly. This dude has found giants that are so big it would blow your mind. One of them was a womb cave. It's literally, if I don't know the name of it, but if you look up the womb cave, it is a giant woman's body parts. It even has the ovaries, and they try to say it was carved that way, but it's not. And so this dude, anyway, like I said, Mud Fossil University, he got fired because he found out the truth, and it didn't go along with mainstream media's narratives. And guess what? At the end of the day, you have to comply with who is funding your ventures. And if you do not comply with who's funding your ventures, you get chopped, And that's the same thing that happens with everything. Any archaeological finds that go outside of the mainstream media's narratives get gobbled up. They block off areas that, like the Grand Canyon that you can't see and stuff. But anyway, let me get back on course. Sean Handler, the American Dream? What's the American Dream? Nickel, I've started to realize over the last year and I'm about to start taking... Oh, yeah, I already helped you on that. Norwegian Batman. That is a unique handle, my man. Hold on, I'm going to sip some. You love my content. You're young in your journey, but old in my spirit. Keep up your amazing work. Thank you so much, my friend. Much appreciated. I'm glad that you are, taking steps to elevate your enlightenment to raise the consciousness of the union body that we're all in, because we're all tied together. I'm reflecting myself off of y'all back to me because we're all in this together. And that's why I love once you come to a higher elevation. There's people that have done like mushrooms and LSD or whatever what blew their mind wasn't the trip, was that we're all one. Like, they unlocked a part of their brain where they could see everything and become clear, and it was like, oh, we're all one. Like, and that's what blew their mind, not the journey. The actual trip and being able to see, unlocking the brain and the pineal gland to come to a higher elevation of understanding that we're really all one in this. If you get past this false, temporary, natural light, the eyes of division, and you can see with the unity of the spirit and substance, we're all one in this, and that's what's so amazing. Awareness. The system is becoming God. Omnipotent, omnipresence. Yeah, so by the system, are you talking about like the digital quote-unquote surveillance that is being put in place? It can be looked at as good or bad, because when it depends on really who's at the helm, right? And that's almost anybody. It depends on who is at the helm of the system. It's just like if you looked at a quote, I hope I don't get banned for this, but a gun. If you look at a gun, the gun itself, you can sit it there. You can sit a pile of coke there. It's just there. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to report it? Are you going to use it? Are you going to hurt somebody? It's just neutral. It is what it is. And it's up to you what you do with it, So the same thing with any type of technology. And I think even and I'm sorry, I watch freaking kids cartoons because my toddlers that's what they do. Even in, what's the princesses with the Frozen? The snowman be spitting knowledge. Like, I love the snowman. He be on a whole nother level. He be talking about water has memory and stuff. And I'm like, my man. He was talking about how technology is both our savior and our demise. And I'm like, this guy, that's why I love somehow a lot of the Hollywood movies. They're all tied together. And at the end of the day, like, if you can see through the entertainment platform of what they're really releasing a lot of good stuff to educate and help people. But quote unquote, I just got the live contains themes not suitable for younger audience and has been age restricted. All right, thanks TikTok. I think my whole profile is age restricted now, and I don't know what age that is, but I hope they take it off of the 13 and 12-year-olds that they were sending it out to, all my videos, because that's not what I'm trying to shoot for. Anyway, I'm trying to shoot for everybody, but if I was 12 and some guy like me started trying to talk about this stuff, man, I'd be like, man, I just want to eat a freaking cheeseburger, dude, and like smear my boogers somewhere. Like, I ain't trying to focus on daggone spiritual stuff. Sean Handler, the people that the Bible talks about being saved are the seed of Jacob. He was a sojourner. So the Bible is a very amazing book. It's my favorite law book. It has so many layers to it and so many levels to it. You can read it like a book on a natural level, and you'll get natural level book stuff out of it. You can read it on a commercial level, and you can understand stuff like the Bible shows you how to be sovereign in court. If you start operating in the spirit and one with the Creator, and you understand that you are the sovereign on this earth that you're meant to be, you ask questions. That's what Yahshua, Jesus, or Yahshua, that's what he did. He asked the question back. When an authority, quote unquote authority figure, was asking him questions, he asked the question back. And that's how you can answer a question, by asking a question and putting it back on them. It's a court game, because one of the definitions of court is where a sovereign lives. And guess what? You don't really live in your body, but this temporary vessel is a tool that you use to navigate in the natural realm. But you don't have to be bound by it. And that's what's cool about spirit when you start dealing in substance, is you're not bound by this little natural vessel to an extent. You can go in and out of it. And I've done it. I've done a light what's the astral projection stuff, and that's a whole woo. It felt so freeing. It was amazing. Guys, this live will be on YouTube. Audio will be on Telegram. My social media is on my website, which is linked on my profile. You can please watch my playlist, everybody. I tell everybody, they come, they ask me these questions, and I'm like, this is answered on my playlist. They're like, oh yeah, I've seen your playlist, and then they'll come back and they'll ask a question. I'm like, that's on my playlist, and I'll sometimes give specific videos, but it's like, if you watch all the playlists and you tie everything together, 99% of the time, I don't ever hear anybody come back. And a lot of times I see people liking and viewing and saving all of my videos. Like, they're watching them. They're going through. It's not a homework assignment. It's just I have laid things out for everybody to grow on and to build. And I'm going to keep getting more advanced. I'm going to keep growing and trying to put out videos. I didn't get to drop one this week. And that's part of why I ended up promoting my last video. One was because it got throttled down and shadow banned so bad that it was only going to see 1,000 people. Just like my chemtrail video. I couldn't believe when I dropped the chemtrail. They're like, yeah, nobody's going to be able to search and find this. It's not going on anybody's For You page, and basically we'll let it stay on here, but it's not going anywhere. And it's like, thanks TikTok. That's good to know that chemtrails is something that you promote that you don't want people to see or look at, or as far as like know the truth about. Or I wasn't even I was spitting truth other than my one opinion. I was like, this is my opinion. Other than this is all like factual stuff that I'm spitting. So, awareness. 2D paper is going away, and 3D digital self-identity is on board, and the system will be invisible. Okay. Well, electrical signals are typically invisible. It's visible in the true spiritual spectrum, but it might be invisible to the false temporary natural eyes. Because when you get into a spiritual realm, time is irrelevant, space is irrelevant. Because I've had people connect with me states away. I've had people connect through the live stream. I've had and vice versa. Like, time and space is irrelevant in the spiritual realm. Our natural instincts and mind, and that's why you got to start in nature. And I think that's why it's designed the way it is. The whole systems, the three triangles, is we start off in a natural realm, very young, and trying to figure everything out. Same thing in the spiritual thing. When you come to a spiritual enlightenment, spiritual realm, and spiritual awakening, the natural stuff is it's garbage. It is complete garbage. It's almost like in Proverbs, where it's like it's all pursuant to the wind. Everything's already been done. It's already laid out. It's all like what is the point of all this? Like, no matter where I go, spirit's there. You can't hide. None of your thoughts are private. None of that stuff. Now, to an average human that's not very well trained and tapped into the spiritual realm, your thoughts are private. But to a lot of spirits and things, no, they're not. They're not. Unless you know how to protect and guard them. It gets complicated. But again, that's more advanced stuff. And the truth is, I could release a video on these things, but it will go nowhere. If I try to put out some spiritual knowledge, TikTok will let it see, I don't know, 900 people. I put it on YouTube, it'll go out to 30. Some of my videos on YouTube went out to 40 people. I had like 3 likes. And I'm like, wow, YouTube. Now, there are some videos that will go out to thousands. Some of my funny short videos, they promote those, of course, because they don't want people to think and self-analyze, to be able to think outside of the box, or grow into a level where you see the invisible shackles that aren't even there. It just is perceived that way. And it's hard to come to higher elevations of understanding, especially when the people that control and dictate our monetary system and our government and our education and our health. It's all about corporate greed. It's all about corporate interest. And just like the Stanford study showed, it don't matter what you vote, what you think, what you want your best interest in. At the end of the day, who's on top that's funding or pulling the strings? Like, they're the ones that get to dictate the level below them. And you go up above that, who's funding and pulling the strings and dictating on the level above that? They have to do what's below them, And that's what was so wild about the guy finding out that all the corporations own themselves. The big corporations. It's like, so no matter what, the interests that are laid down by the people that are on the boards, that are owning all the same boards, that are in the same boards, know what's going on all the other companies and make decisions that are best for all of them. It's like, it's a self-sustaining cycle of endless corporate greed that how do you get out of that? Not for profit, working, loving for others, working for love and in spirit. That's the only way to get out of it. Same thing with this natural body. It's the only way to get out of it. Operate in spirit. Start thinking in substance, thinking in love and harmony and peace. Because you could be a janitor and you could be the most amazing, best person on this earth. You can reach your spiritual body, your rainbow body, in unity with your chakras and stuff, no matter who you are. We all have that ability. Now, there are people that's minds have been blinded for a reason, and that's part of when I'm operating. I do my best to tap in to see if anybody is able to handle or receive certain things, knowledge or whatever, how I'm operating, things I'm going to say, how I'm going to interact, because people can't, you have to talk to everybody on a certain level. You have to offer a safe space for them to be able receptive to grow. And not everybody can handle this stuff. Like, for instance, the 60 videos that I've put out that are all intertwined, that I tell a lot of people to, watch them all, put them all together, put the pieces, and grow from it. And barely anybody, if anybody, watches them all, puts pieces together, and comes back with stuff that I haven't covered or has questions that wasn't included in it. The only time they do that is normally because they didn't even watch the videos. They act like they will. It's like, look, it'll take you 2 hours, right? People that are doing my works charge thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and I'm just laying it out for free. Yes, I am making it so you have to put puzzle pieces together, and there is a reason for that. And the reason is because if you can't put the puzzle pieces together, then you're not competent enough to even try to walk around and say you're sovereign to a cop, and you'll get pistol whipped, because you have to understand it comes from love and harmony. Even though you are the ultimate authority, you have to come from peace and love and harmony, or you're going to get thrown in jail, or you're going to get hurt, or you're going to have the judge upset, or any of that stuff. So always be fully prepared and understand things the best you can before attempting anything. If you start running, you'll be knocked down to crawling real quick out there in that realm. Now, again, at the end of the day, it is the spirit that controls and runs everything. So that's the source that you want to tap in and be guided by. Pumpkin, I'm glad that I'm speaking your language. I'm glad, And I love coming on here and trying to help everybody on a case-by-case basis. If anybody's got any questions and wants to ask me, that's what this time is set aside for. I've only been recording for 30. And usually it doesn't take so long to get so high. Hi, Dene. The meaning of words is the spirit of the law. 8:2. So words are substance, and I know what's very unique is women typically look for substance. Men are a form. Men go by like the natural light, the eyes, the form. Men typically don't care about substance. They only care if a chick looks hot. They don't look for substance. Women look for substance, and it doesn't matter whether or not a guy is that attractive or not. If he's got his come from, his personality is this, that, and the other, and he's got a good substance, girls will find him attractive. And I grew up learning that. So women look for substance, and women love words. Words are actually true, unending substance. And you have audible, you have inaudible words. You also, when it comes to spoken word, you also have written and living. Living is where everything flows from. That's the top of the triangle. When it comes to the natural realm, you have inaudible and audible words, and then you have written. Now, there's also another one from the spirit, the living, which is the vibration of intention and thought and consciousness. That is a whole other frequency of information that people can tap into. So words, the spirit of the law is absolutely, that is equity, and the meaning and behind it and intention. And what happens a lot of times in the written law is a lot of stuff is up for interpretation because stuff wasn't outlined or defined properly in contracts. And then it can be up for interpretation. And that's why the written letter of the law is so hard to fulfill, because when you look at one sovereign entity, royalty, trying to contract with another sovereign entity of royalty, there is almost unlimited paths that they could each take. And trying to confine and define those paths by contracting is so hard. And that's why there will never, ever end being new codes, policies, statutes, and procedures created by all these corporations, because everybody finds ways in and out. Sean Handley, you want a phone call? Like right now, I'm on live. It's gonna be hard to. You can definitely DM me. You can message me, email me. I have a number on my website. I've had people call me on my live, and I'm just like I'm on live, dude. Like, what are you doing? And typically, if someone calls me, I'll say I'll let them know if it's a good time to talk or not, or when a good time is. But And then I put my phone on airplane mode when it's in my pocket because I don't want emanating radiation to any more than has to be from that sucker. And the worst radiation that I've ever seen recorded from a phone is while driving, while it's switching from tower to tower. It freaking goes crazy. I haven't seen a reading while it's charging. I've heard that's a terrible time to have a phone near you, especially if you're sleeping. You don't want a phone near you when it's charging. All right, so but there's a difference between RF, LF, HF, UF, ultra high frequency, subsonic, Wi-Fi, like different bands. Like our cells, we're electrical light beings, you know. And when you start interfering with that, and we're basically banks. We're electrical light beings of banks that can receive and put out and deposit energies. All right, so Ana Luna, what happens if someone is undocumented and arrested for no driver's license? Well, what do you mean, like an immigrant? Because I can't officially call them illegal anymore because they are legally being brought over and given everything for some reason, for some agenda. So what happens is they do their best to try to identify the individual, and they will bring in a translator and try to figure out what the country of origin is, or at least they used to. I doubt they're doing that now. What they would try to do is try to figure out what country of origin the person hails from. And if they have no family or nobody over here or nothing, either the government will decide to try to help them the best they can, depending on what the charge is. Now, if it was just driving without a license, that's usually not a deportable offense. But if the guy's over here illegally and can't, right now he'll just go to a concentration camp where everybody else is being put for a time. I actually was in jail with people that were illegally over there, and they were waiting to get deported after trial. And I don't remember what their charges were, but that's typically what they would do. Is they would it doesn't matter if they have contracts with the state at all. If they got booked and they didn't properly know how to go through booking, then a charge has been ledgered, and that's an account that needs to be satisfied and settled one way or another. It's just like your birth certificate. You could have a birth certificate created and a baby dies and it's not reported, and even if it is reported, they still create the trust, the individual trust. It's still monetized in the private on the background that funds things on the private side. Like it keeps going. It doesn't matter if you report things or not. So once a charge has been ledgered, then the state is they're not for profit. The courts, their job and obligation is to get money to the creditors of the U.S. and they'll be funneling money through Puerto Rico or whatever it is to the Crown and whoever the creditors are of the U.S. For that charge. So it needs to be satisfied somehow. So again, the people that I was interfaced with is they would do the best they can to identify, and then if they find the country of origin and basically they're not supposed to be over here, they would go through trial. And then if it's worth the state to try to use the body of surety, they would use the body of surety. If they can't, they would deport them back to the country of origin, one way or another. That's kind of what I remember. So, Pumpkin, the Social Security Office on Facebook, FB, was looking to hire a translator in Oklahoma. Huh. Oh, yeah, they actually pay a lot of people that are bilingual more money. Because if somebody can speak Spanish or Russian or one of my girlfriends who was Latina, she could speak Portuguese, Spanish, and English. And so she got paid like $3 extra per hour than a normal person would because she could actually take in Spanish phone calls and Portuguese and stuff like that. So, yeah, being able that's a skilled trade that's paid for being able to speak multiple languages because America or U.S. is created. Well, I'd say America is basically a conglomerate amalgamation of no particular race because it's all been blurred. The true history of how it is actually established and outlined and created has been dictated by the victors of war to try to hide and blur the truth. And the truth is, it's wild. I'm learning more all the time, and I truly love it. I actually love knowledge. I don't know why other people don't. But Punjabi in Canada. What in the world? J1 LTD. All right, Awareness. Thanks for joining on. Oh, I believe you, man. I'll see you on the gram too. Thanks for all your assistance on the gram, dude. I appreciate you being able to feed people and give them life and light and stuff like that for helping me, because I just got a lot going on, and I'm putting off stuff just to come on here to try to help people and enlighten and show some shed some of the three lights on people. But I appreciate you, my brother. I'll catch you later. So Jay, what in the heck is Punjabi? What is going on? Demisi. Are you still? Did you just circle back home, girl? So I'm on Instagram, but I don't really use it much. All my social medias are the same, but I'm really just active on Telegram. That's what he meant by gram. Telegram is all my social medias are linked on my website on my profile page. I'm on Telegram some. I'm a little on YouTube, slightly on Twitter. I would be a little more on Twitter if they accept a little bit longer videos. Like anything I try to post on there, I have to like chop it down. I have to do an extra step of going to edit stuff to get it down to 120 seconds. And it's like, the only thing that's 120 seconds is my goofy, funny videos. And I don't really want to post that stuff out. Is what it is. But so yeah, I'll just check out the link on my profile page. Guys, that's where a lot of my content is. Most people love worship and commerce and going through and focusing on that, but there's a whole lot more to these realms than meets the eyes, because we have three eyes and most people aren't using but one of them, and it ain't the right one. So anyway, appreciate you. I hope you're enjoying your Fridays, guys. I'll be on here for a little bit longer. If y'all got any questions, I'm here to try to help elevate the consciousness and bring light to everybody and truth. And I'm so glad. Oh, you have been here, Demisi? I'm so glad you got to hear me go on crazy little tantrums and rants trying to help people on my walk. You beautiful, beautiful girl. Norwegian Batman. I thought we were all protesting the book and Graham. Yeah, I saw something like that, man. And at the end of the day, you can use any platform you want. Trying to say screw you TikTok, I'm gonna remove myself from Facebook and Instagram is like TikTok doesn't own. You got to look at things on a corporate level, okay? TikTok doesn't have any interest or ownership in YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or any of that stuff. TikTok could care less what you do on Instagram. TikTok could care less what you do on YouTube. Trying to remove yourself from all social media, that's good for you only, okay? And probably others, and letting everybody else know that. So how it's all set up to create digital twins on everything we do is people just love posting, this is where I am, this is what I'm doing, these are all my friends, here's all my family. You've basically given everybody a clear, concise location constantly of where you are, what you're doing, what you're eating, where you're going to the bathroom, who you're with, and just given everybody just a blatant. That's why I removed my kids. I started posting videos of my kids, and then as like I started reaching millions of people, I was like, let me not start posting pictures of all my kids and stuff. I took it down to friends only, or followers only. I think I only got like 5,000 followers, but I limit all that stuff, and you just got to be careful what you post, because everybody's just out there being, this is what I'm eating, this is where I'm going to the bathroom, this is where I'm going to nightclub, and like anybody can find you any day of the week because you're just posting on all these social medias where you are, and nobody's taught the ethics of how to hide. Like if I posted the stuff that I do all the time, it would blow y'all's minds. Like I just don't use social media to let everybody know. And originally, I never even wanted to do that. I never wanted to come on any social media and flex. Like here's my car that I'm driving. Here's my this that I have. Here's that, because there's people out there struggling. There's people out there that can't even eat. They're in survival mode constantly. And the last thing that anybody wants to see is some freaking white boy trying to flex on what his freaking gold fronts look like or something. It's like, it's just not my style. I like being humble. I'm usually much more humble than I have been on TikTok. I'm not gonna lie, I've flexed a little bit because you start seeing beautiful girls, aka Demisi and Danae, and on and on. All right, so Jay, you bros are striving hard. Kudos. Thank you, appreciate it. I thought you were no. All right, so hands up, Pumpkin. Do you think the Queen Chamber represents the eye of the needle, also called the eternal flame? I'd have to look at the Queen Chamber, because I don't know what that is. I know about the King's Bench, but I don't know about the Queen's Chamber. I'd have to Google it. Let's see what the Queen's Chamber is. I don't know how many search results I'm going to get on this. Is that from the pyramid? Is that what you're talking about for pumpkin for the Queen Chamber? I might need to be more specific on it. Yeah, it's in the Great Pyramid, right? I think I almost think that the pyramid was an energy device. My research has shown that the pyramids were poured in place by a geopolymer mix. By giants, most likely, because if you look at some of the mud fossils that I was telling you about in the beginning of this live from Mud Fossil University, who has confirmation of DNA from giant fossils, like huge ones, the stuff that people try to hide. That's what he got fired for. He got fired for finding out the truth, and that sucks. But when you see the size of some of these humanoids or whatever they were that used to be around before the flood, the pyramid would be like a Lego block. Like, it would be nothing. But it looks like it was created as a geopolymer mix in place and might have been for a power station. So, I summons, commanded to witness, offered a contract. So, can I void it within 72-hour rule? So, where did you just receive a summons in the mail, like out of nowhere? And what's it for? That's one of my questions. Timeless. Since I was a teen, I never understood why people are so happy about social media. I agree with you on one extent. I think women are much more prone to be involved in it because, honestly, a lot of girls love the attention of what is offered by showing a shoulder or being a good-looking girl. It just is what it is. Guys just drool over that stuff, and a lot of women love attention, and I don't know if it stems from, not having a strong father figure growing up or what, but I like when girls hit on me. I like when girls think I'm hot. I mean, and I'm one of the very few guys that actually receives that occasionally. I have a girl come up to me and just say, "You's fine," and not a lot of guys get that. And that's this girl did a documentary called "Self-Made Man," and I suggest y'all watch the highlighted reel on that. "Self-Made Man," a lesbian girl. Pretended to be a man and did stuff like went to the strip club and basically lays out the difference between the sex roles and how it's in society. And she had a very tragic ending to her walk, but she laid out some stuff that puts things in perspective that none of us can do unless y'all have tried to do transgender or tried to flip your gender role and try to put yourself in someone else's shoes. She put herself in a man's shoes for a long time, I think almost a year, and got perspectives that a typical woman can't even imagine. So, Timeless 101. I only get accounts to look for things and really post personal things. Oh, only. Yeah, I originally was only about knowledge on TikTok and Instagram, and then I started, not Facebook, but I barely post anything on anything other than TikTok. So I started dating a girl. She was a little younger, and she was sending me all these funny things on Instagram all the time. It was so fun. I'm not gonna lie, there's some funny stuff out there. But I try to stay, I'm very bubbly and happy and go lucky type spirit, and but some of these things were like, it was dying. It had me dying. There's some goofy people out there. It's funny. But mainly, I'm about knowledge and education. I'd say the majority of the time. Norwegian Batman. Nah, Alphabet agencies and Alphabet, Bookgram, Amazon are the forces behind the TikTok ban. Oh, I didn't know that. I've heard so many different things. What's up, Black Swan? I heard a Black Swan event's going to be happening sometime by the $1 Million Man. I have no clue. When it comes to legislation, it comes to politics, I have a high level understanding of a lot of the stuff, but I'm not into the weeds. I'm not into who's trying to ban TikTok. If they're gone, then I'll just, they're already throttling me down, shadow banning me, restricting my age, who can see my stuff, all that stuff. So if they're gone, they're gone. I mean, I've already started posting stuff on YouTube. I'm saving every video. I'm saving this live. This live will be on YouTube. The audio will be on Telegram group. I have, a means to reestablish. But what sucks is, and then my website. So my website has all my social media links. You're able to contact me, email me, all that stuff. So I have stuff that's outside of of TikTok just in case. But yeah, I don't know who's behind it. I don't follow all that stuff, man. All right, guys, I've actually been on for an hour, but only recording for 50 minutes. So unless y'all got any questions or whatever, then we can call this. I got to the bottom of my list, and I came on here really late, so I am kind of prone to want to try to wrap up soon, so I can maybe swip this over. Nah, check out my website. It's just scroll down a little bit. You see all my social medias. They're all linked there. Danae, I was served by a detective to appear in trial court as a witness. Oh, you know what? I've done that too. I actually witnessed a sheriff get ran off the road on a motorcycle. Or it was a cop. And what was funny is I started dating, and I was on a date when I was supposed to be in court to witness, and I was like, oh crap, and I called them, and they were like, oh, they settled, so you didn't have to come. I'm like, cool, because I missed. And when you're and I thought about, you can play the sovereign card, you can play the I'm not the U.S. citizen, I'm the authorized representative. You can do whatever you want when it comes to the court system. It's up to you. You're the sovereign. You have the unlimited ability to contract however you want. But if you can help somebody, if you can help, you got to remember that the forces that are in place were established for a reason. The police officers, the federal government, stuff like that. Certain departments do act outside of their their roles all the time, aka thou shalt not kill, unless they're going to another country to do corporate interests, which is crazy. It's just such a charade. So depending on how you want to contract, you can claim the sovereign card, you can claim that you're not a U.S. citizen, you can do whatever you want to not testify. But if you can help somebody, if you can help prevent a crime or like some murder or something then yeah, I would say all for it. I would play dumb. Let's play like, yeah, I'm here to. They wanted me to go to an attorney's office to give testimony when, from what I witnessed, the police officer getting ran off the road. I actually stopped and helped the guy. It didn't matter that he was a cop. I didn't care. I watched a dude get run off the road into a median and into the island, and I stopped and make sure that he was okay. Because that's, and then come to find out it was a cop, and I was like, dang on, freaking cop got ran off the road. Info and Soul Corp. That's on my website. It's under what is it under? Commerce Business Structures Corp Soul, and there's plenty of it. There's tons of audios in there. There's what I read on my video was just a tiny little excerpt about all the stuff on there. Black Swan. Oh, do you not accept guests? LOL, it's not available. Oh. Yeah, so I'm shadow banned. I'm age restricted. I'm being throttled down. Apparently, they say I have no followers when you come on my live. You have to meet a certain criteria to even join. So it's kind of tough what they're putting me in now. They really don't want me to speak, but here I am. I'm doing what I can. Black Swan. I figured out exactly how they are accessing one of our accounts. The insurance account, at least. Oh, that's I watched a video on insurance that would blow your mind. So it said that insurance. I watched a video on a guy that said he was in charge of a life insurance corporation, like a big life insurance corporation, and it said if you were in the position that I am, when somebody's shopping for life insurance, there's only one thing that matters, and that is when that person dies. And they have all of this data. He said that the insurance companies have data that the federal government doesn't have, and they won't even release this stuff out. It would blow your mind because all that matters is when someone dies, and they're able to crunch so much data across so many different spectrums and so many different types of algorithms to be able to basically try to pinpoint and figure out when someone is going to. And they basically said that if this information got out to the public, it would instantly uproar everybody about how they're able to access and figure out when somebody's going to end it all. So, but yeah, I accept guests. It's just weird. I guess the live restriction. I had somebody ask me to create a new account because of how restricted and banned everything is now for me being throttled down. I have a handler. I can't see who comes on my videos. They removed my ability to see who visits my profile. The list goes on and on. But I think what they're doing is whoever, agents or governments or whatever, whoever's watching me, they're interested in what I want to say. So they're feeding me just enough people and likes and interests just to try to keep going. Like it's just like a hamster wheel, just barely enough to keep me making crap. But other than that, they don't want my stuff getting out. Like it just is what it is. All right, so thanks for the follow. I'd be interested in hearing about that Black Swan. Appreciate it. Jamie, I appreciate your info and love, brother. 100% keep you up. Thanks. You have to binge watch my videos. Yeah, you'll be brainwashed if you do that. It'll definitely. I have a very unique style of teaching and a comprehensive view of how things are laid out. And I try to do my best to break everything down to the smallest, simplest form to grow off of. Random. Any movies, documentaries? Yes. Heal. I always suggest Heal on Netflix. And the more you start going down the food rabbit trail with Dr. Sebi, it will blow your mind. So I suggest Dr. Sebi and Heal if you want natural results for health. And those I always suggest to people. So Black Swan, the HHS and labor accounts here has an account that is held by each of the secretaries. That's interesting. I figured out those ones at least. That's cool, man. Yeah, I'd like to maybe you can DM me. I'd like to talk about that. That's cool. So can we access our SS to purchase date, homes, cars? Yeah, you can do the Social Security thing, and it'll work for like 2 days if you do it in the public way instead of doing it the proper way, which is going through the DTC and using one of your bonds, one of the Social Security bonds. Or you can do it the public way, which is it's a federal insurance program, and it basically says that anybody that uses Social Security is a federal employee because you're using a benefits program from the federal government. So any U.S. citizen that has that is it's a linchpin that turns the U.S. citizen into a federal employee. But you can retire. That's what I think's so funny. You got 401k and you got Social Security, and it's like, what have I been paying in the Social Security all these years for? If it's like not just but it's a Ponzi scheme. It's like the George Rapp Society, the Social Security, where you give up everything and get some benefits. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up. It's been an hour. I'm playing here really late. I got a lot of stuff to do. I put off to do this. I think I'm going to wrap up. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Thanks for the follows, likes, shares. I appreciate all you guys. Much love. I'm glad that you found me, even though I'm banned, shadow banned and stuff. So I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I will see y'all later. All right?